sometime, back to me sometime between, well, if he's incompetent to proceed, then we'll have to consider a different direction this case will take. If it comes back that he's competent to proceed, I anticipate that happening within less than 60 days. So there we go. Anything else? The final show cause hearing is continued pending receipt of the order from the experts. Anything else from the state side?
Yeah, Judge, this is not a proceeding that requires testimony, but it's just an issue since the motion in limine was granted as to May 11th. We would be asking the court for leave to speak with the jurors regarding that issue. Because currently there was some indication that one of the jurors was aware of one of the books, and I think it was a jury foreman.
So you want to interview the jury foreman for the purposes?
Yes, that would be the first interview. If something else comes up, we would ask the court for additional.
Okay. Mr. Hirschman?
This is the first I'm hearing, so I'm not sure if there is something that happened before in the case that I'm not aware of with a particular juror, but any interview with a juror, defense would want to have the ability to be present at.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you, how about noticing out the proceeding as if in a deposition, and just so that everybody knows what's happening? I'm taking a lot of my ruling. What are your thoughts on that process?
Judge, I hesitate to do anything that requires Mr. DeMartin to be a party or a part of the decision making.
Let me do this then. I'll give each side.
But a deposition would not be. So if I could notice the deposition.
Right. Let me do this then. I'll grant your request, but I'll also grant the defense request. You too can interview the jury foreperson in the State versus Goodman case as though you were doing an investigation. No notice is required to the other side. You can do it, State, and Mr. Hirschman, you can do it also if you care to.
Judge, can I just be heard on that really quick?
Sure.
I mean, obviously, I know that jury interviews are supposed to be done under really unique circumstances, limited circumstances. Before you grant the motion, can we have the opportunity to just look into it and see if...
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if it were the Goodman case and you want to talk to the Goodman juror about the Goodman issues, that's kind of different. This is more like these people may be witnesses to the contempt proceeding. So it's not exactly conducting what we traditionally think of as a juror interview to determine if something was out in the Goodman trial, but rather are they witnesses to something that may be relevant in DeMartin.
So is that then the opportunity that the government has to interview a foreperson, you said, or remaining?
No, I'm just right now. They've only asked for the one particular juror. I'll grant that request, and they can go ahead and interview that person, as can you as well. Once again, you don't have to notice the state. You can do it. If someone wants to expand it from there, I'll ask you to come get into the court.
So is there then a rule that the court is making that juror, if spoken to one side, must speak to the other side, or they can speak to one, not the other?
Absolutely. The juror right now is, I treat that person as a witness, and they can talk to one side and not the other, talk to both sides, talk to neither side. If you go knock on the door and the juror says, I don't want to talk to any of y'all, then it might be necessary to talk about a subpoena. But I think probably the least intrusive course of action would be to allow you all to conduct interviews as though it was just an investigation.
All right, so just in that regard, I know we've been rejected, this is months ago,
right?
Regarding monies. I don't think it's appropriate for Cheryl and I to go knock on her door, pick up a phone, call a potential witness, and strike a conversation. So we would ask for fees associated with an investigator for the purpose of what we're discussing now, pursuant to the state's request for potential juror, witness / interview.
That's not unreasonable.
So rates that are statutory for the investigator to do whatever limited work the investigator has for that purpose.
What's the statutory rate?
I think it's 40 now.
40
Okay, I might be thinking first degree. But whatever it is, I'll look it up and
Well, I'll give you 3 hours. And it sounds like drive out, talk to them, report back to you, maybe draft a report if he cares to.
So is that information, just, again, I don't know, is that juror address telephone confidential?
No.
Judge, I believe we would have to get that information from the court.
I think that stuff was disclosed long ago.
Okay.
So if you have any trouble getting it, let me know. But I think that's the folks in the back row. They have the
I know he is ready. I just don't have a phone number.
Okay. It's all right. And I do have a copy of the 2 orders. I'll leave them up here on the bench so that y'all can get them and share them. All right. Anything else? If you want to, Mr. Kirschman, if you don't mind reducing to writing that portion of the order that gives you 3 hours.
Yes.
So that JC can be put on notice. And Ms. Collins, if you want an order,
I'll email it to Jay.
me to sign that says I'm allowing interviews and the state of defense can have ex-party access to the juror and let the juror know that he can, that he can talk with you or he doesn't have to talk.
I can prepare that this afternoon and have that shot over to the council before.
All right, great. Thank you so very much, everybody.
Thanks, Judge.
You want copies of these? She gave me 2 separate orders.
I got those.
You got some more. That's right. All right, you can. That's all you can. Yeah. Boy. I told you. Look at